Here is my garden plan for 2026 for spring planting. What will I grow in this big garden bed? This is my garden plan. This garden divides to 3 columns. Column 1, column 2, and column 3 is next to the fence. Column 1 would be crops that are much shorter. The middle column will only plant the plants that are a little higher than the first column. The column next to the fence will grow taller plants and climbing plants. And look at here, those individual cinder blocks will plant herbs and flowers to attract good insects and attract bees. For the cinder blocks, I will plant lavender, rosemary, marigold, thyme, yarrow, salvia, perhaps cornflower. The reason I pick this type of flowers and herbs because first they attract butterflies, bees, and good insects, repel bad insects. They are also dry tolerant plants. They can do well in the dry condition. Cinder blocks can get hot and dry the soil out quickly during the summer. So these flowers and herbs are perfect for cinder blocks on the edge of the garden. The first column I will plant kale, mustard, pak choi, kohlrabi, carrots, watermelon, radish, garlic green, beets, Swiss chard, asparagus, lettuce, chives, lapel cabbage. The crops with check marks are already in the ground. I planted them on January the 1st. Of course, you can plant them right now. It's not too late. You can plant them in January or in February or in March. But I just want to get ahead. As you can see, then the green irish over there, that's the Chinese asparagus lettuce. The chives. I moved the chives from another garden to this garden. The chives in other garden don't look too healthy, so I just cut the tops, dig the roots up, separate the roots, and plant it in this garden. Now the greens look much healthier. You can see the little garlic green comes up from soil already. And there's some small young seedlings also pops up from the soil. Between the column 1 and column 2, there is a huge big trench for me to walk. In my previous garden, the garden was too small, so I planted so dense. I had an 8x8 garden, so every time I want to harvest something or pull a little bit of weeds here there, I have to step in the garden, which is I don't like to step in my garden. Then it's the main reason why I expanded my garden. So now I have bigger garden. I can actually have a trench between each bed, so I can walk in my garden without stepping in the place I grow vegetables. So you can see how I walk here. This is my entrance here. I take the entrance out. I can walk through this trench. Very nice, and without stepping on my garden bed or step on my garden plants. And also I can walk to here to harvest, walk to here, and walk all the way to here. I can reach my vegetables to harvest anywhere. This is the first trench, second trench, and I have a trench horizontally with this flow. So this makes me so happy because in the future I do not need to step in my garden. Easily for me to harvest, easily for me to fertilize, or easily for me to pull weeds if there are any. I'm so happy. Here's the column number 2. Column number 2, I will plant this type of crops: Chinese celery, acorn squash, onion leek, zucchini green, zucchini yellow, bell pepper, jalapeno pepper, carrots, marigold, peanuts. Those crops are taller, so I planted them in the middle. Last year, I planted lots of leafy greens. This year, I want to plant more different variety of crops, from leafy greens to squashes to roots, vegetables, and to protein-rich food. So on my salt column, I will plant cucumbers, sesame plants, corn, okra, lanyard beans, chickpeas. And next to cucumbers, I will plant some marigold, basil, marigold to keep the insects away. New crops are added to this year's gardening for spring 2026 are corn, zucchini, chickpeas, peanuts, potato, sesame, butternut squash, acorn squash, apple cabbage, onion, and leek. So this year I have added lots of new crops to my garden. Then it's also one of the reasons I expanded my garden. Right now in this garden, I still have broccoli, cabbage, daikon radish, um, arugula, fava beans, garlic for bulbs, pak choy, collard green, and peas. Doesn't look a lot big. They grow very crowded everywhere over there. This summer, I will have lots of crops to harvest. Okay, now let me show you my other small individual 8x8 garden beds. This is the biggest one. If you're going backwards from here, you can see there are more gardens. Okay, my garden bed starts from here. So you can see there are 3 8x8 garden beds before the biggest garden bed in the middle. The first one in this one, it still have arugula, the chives which don't do good well, some bok choy and cilantro in the corner, some jalapeno pepper, some Swiss chard, onion, rosemary. To me, it's very messy now. Since I have bigger spot to grow my crops, I'm going to make it neat. So in this garden bed, I will plant. So in this garden bed, I will plant yam beans, which is a red variety, next to the fence. In front of the yam beans will be potatoes, first time grown potatoes. On the corner of there, it's a self-seeded cilantro. I have been harvesting the cilantro, and in the meantime, let it grow seeds, so I can harvest the seeds for next year. The second bed, 8x8 over there, I will plant bottle gourd squash, butternut squash next to the fence. Then I will plant a couple black cherry tomatoes and Cherokee purple tomatoes, and a couple of bush green beans on the second garden. Right now, that garden second bed has lots of vegetables growing inside. Chinese red choy sum, peas, kohlrabi, pet soy, Chinese asparagus lettuce, and self-seeded cilantro. My cilantro growing everywhere in the yard, all self-seeded. As you can see, these are temper soil. Red choy, some over there, some peas, asparagus, lettuce, and cilantro, they are everywhere. This garden, this is a jujube tree. These are two curry plants. The roots has escaped into the ground, so difficult for me to dig them up. So I just let it grow. Over there is the goji berry, lemongrass. Every year it just comes back, have more, and the one grape plant over there. Here I have nothing to plant here, so I will plant my watermelon this year and let my watermelon climb all over. So this is my plan for this garden. Last year I planted my watermelon in the pot. On the patio, it did very well. However, this year I want to grow cantaloupe in my patio in big pot. So I want to grow my watermelon on the ground and let them just climb all over the ground. Behind this big garden bed, there are two more 8x8 garden beds. I will show you what I'm going to plant over there. These are the two garden beds next to the brick fence. In this garden bed, I have planted a sugar cane next to the brick fence, and also next to the wooden fence. The middle area right now has varieties of peppers growing over there. I will plant sweet potatoes. And you see the trellis here? This trellis for my loofah to climb over. So I will have a loofah planted along here next to the edge of the wooden fence and let it climb over. So I have a loofah climb on this trellis. Look at this garden bed, this one. I moved the trellis. I have this trellises. I have two trellis. I have two this type of trellis. One for loofah to climb. This one for my climbing cherry tomatoes. I can imagine cherry tomatoes all high and the trellis for me to pick. So this garden bed will be growing indeterminate cherry tomatoes climbing up, and I also grow determinate tomato plants. In the center, this is the only tomato. This garden only for planting tomatoes for spring 2026. Right now, in this garden, I have lots of food in this garden. I have a radish, baby pak choy, a spinach in the back, arugula in the back, still peanuts still growing over there. And in the center has a bell pepper, jalapeno pepper, and little chili peppers. Like I said, last year I grew too much. Last year I grew too much peppers. This year, not too many peppers. Few bell peppers, few jalapeno peppers for me for this year. Next to the garden bed, this year I want to plant some blackberries next to the garden bed. Finger crossed. I don't know. Finger crossed. Finger crossed. I hope blackberries will do good. This year I'm going to plant blackberries. Then next year I'm going to plant raspberries, a little by little. So I will plant some blackberries along the wooden fence. Then it's a persimmon tree over there. I trimmed them because they grow so high. I couldn't harvest the persimmon. So I trimmed last year, that summer. So I hope This year they produce persimmons easy for me to harvest. I want to make that section a food forest. That is my plan. But this area gets less sun. However, I still want to give it a try. I really want to have a food forest. It sounds just so fun, so mystery to me. So right now I have a gooseberry galanga growing in the food forest. I will just do step at a time, little by little. I don't have much sunshine around that area. It is a corner of the yard, but as the perfect spot for food forest, except less sunshine. I hope that will not affect my plan. I will get some free mulch, some tree leaves, then it just spread on the ground, let it decay, so make the soil better, fertile. So I can plant one at a time to create a forest in the corner over there. This year, I also want to plant a few fruit trees. Right now, I'm not sure what type of fruit trees I will add to my backyard garden, but I want to plant some new fruit trees to add to my backyard. Right now, I have Asian pear, peach. I have two peach trees. I have one American pear, one Asian pear. I have one lemon and one lime. Therefore, I would love to add some more new fruit trees to my garden spring 2026. What is your plan for your spring 2026 for your garden? If you have any suggestions of what type of fruit tree I can add to my backyard garden, or how do I prepare for my food forest, please let me know. Thank you very much for your time. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.